Warning. The following podcast contains adult themes, including, but not limited to, adult language, adult dragon animorphs, problematic encounters with potential love interests, steampunk vampires, potentially unhealthy relationships, goblin kings, and hosts that read way too far into silly romance novels. The opinions expressed in this podcast are entirely those of the hosts. Listener discretion is advised.
From the inside out so I can see myself from the inside. Oh, love.
Hello, and welcome to Textual Tension, a love-hate relationship with romance novels. I am your co-host, Rachel.
And I am your co-host, Margie.
Every other week, one of us summarizes a romance novel for our unsuspecting co-host, and we review and unpack what the fuck just happened.
Our favorite word, unpack.
Unpack. It's a top two between unpack and problematic.
Yes.
So this week, it is my turn, Rachel, to tell Margie about the book that I read.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Full disclosure to start, I actually read a book that, a while ago, that I wanted to do for today, that I really liked a lot.
Yay!
And then I picked up another one yesterday.
Okay.
Read the entire thing in a day. And
As
decided, no, we're doing this one. So today, I have a different one for you.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know.
You have this look on your face that says, like, I can't wait, but I'm also so sorry.
So you mentioned last week that, or 2 weeks ago, I guess?
2 weeks ago, yeah.
That the book that you read, like, it was bad, but you felt like you were comparing it to that first one.
Right.
Same boat.
Oh no!
Because I was reading this and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is a little weird, but this isn't that bad. And then I was like, wait.
Oh no.
It's not Atlantis bad, but it's not great. So I'm gonna hand you the laptop that we were using for our notes, which has the cover on it. And then if you click behind the cover, there will be the description from Goodreads.
Oh, perfect.
Here you go.
Thank you. Oh my god. Oh, wow.
Not as sexy as you'd imagine,
no,
right?
it's not as sexy. I imagine this is like when you said the Kingmaker Chronicles earlier, I thought you were talking about that book series I was reading.
No, not the King Killer Chronicles. Kingmaker Chronicles.
Gotcha. Okay,
very different.
So we got a chick here with wow, suave ad level hair, like it's being whipped back into the wind. She is drawing Is she drawing an on-fire sword, or is it on fire because of, like, the magic thing that's happening in her other hand?
That is a good question.
The magic fire thing happening in her other hand. She's got this look on her face that says, like, halfway through a fight, she was trying to figure out who you are. Which is she's fighting... she's fighting with the person that she should probably know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, and then the background is like, it's just like the storm clouds are very strange, and I'm just gonna call it mystical.
Sure, that's a good word.
Because there's no other way to describe it. Okay.
It looks like just a really bad fantasy novel cover.
Yes,
in my
it does.
Mind.
It does.
Not romance necessarily.
And I think the thing that makes it for me is just the expression on her face.
It's so weird.
It is so strange. And
yeah.
I can't imagine what they told that model when they took that picture to make her make that face. Like, I'm trying to think of it. And this
is going to be on the show notes, the picture of this, which I don't think we mentioned last week, but check out the show notes.
Yeah, the show notes are on our website. They have, like, the picture. They have a little bit more what we think about the book, etc. Anyway, but, so it says it's by Amanda Bouchet?
I think so.
Bouchet, and it's The Kingmaker Chronicles, A Promise of Fire.
Yeah.
And I mean, I will say this for the book cover, it's not the man.
It's not the dude.
It is just the woman.
That comes into play a little bit.
Oh boy, okay. Well, and it says, fantasy romance at its finest. Fall in love with these delicious characters.
Tasty.
Oh boy.
You're looking good.
And also, for once, the title is slightly bigger than the author's name.
Oh wow, we're 4 in, and this is what we got.
Yeah, this is what we got. It's not a good cover though at all.
But I will say, peeking behind the kimono, we actually recorded 2 lost episodes before we actually put one out, and both of those also had the name of the author larger than the title. So technically, it took us 6.
Yeah. Oh god.
The
Okay.
lost episodes.
So here we go. All right. So I'm gonna read the description.
Aww.
Let's see. So in caps it says, "Kingdoms will rise and fall for her, but not if she can help it."
Yep.
Wait, what?
Yep.
That makes Wait. Oh, okay. Whatever.
going,
Okay,
yeah.
it's no longer in caps. Catalia, Cat Fisa, lives disguised as a soothsayer in a traveling circus. She's perfectly content avoiding the danger and destiny the gods and her homicidal mother have saddled her with. That is until Griffin, an ambitious warlord from the magic-deprived south, fixes her with his steely gaze and upsets her illusion of safety forever. Okay, wait a minute, hold on. You can't feel safe if your mother is trying to kill you. Like, it's...
It goes into it.
What?
We'll
Okay,
get into that.
Griffin knows Kat is the kingmaker, the woman who divines the truth through lies. He wants her as a powerful weapon for his newly conquered realm, until he realizes he wants her for much more than her magic. Is it for her soothsaying abilities? I'm sure that's what it is. Kat fights him at every turn, but Griffin's fairness, loyalty, and smoldering advances make him increasingly hard to resist, and leave her wondering if life really does have to be short and lived alone. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh god, I just like
So
I feel like this is so it goes back on itself every like 3 seconds.
yeah, a little bit. And I will explain what some of those things mean. But
Yeah,
like I said, I busted this sucker out in a morning. It was one of those really fast reads.
You're right though, but it is very confusing. Like, what
Right?
is this kingmaker thing?
Right?
Why does her mother want to kill her?
It makes you want to find out, doesn't it? A little bit.
Yeah. Okay, was this the one that you found in your little free library?
No, this
Okay.
was not the one I found in the Little Free Library. That one is a Nora Roberts original, and that's coming later.
Okay.
All
okay.
hail the queen, Nora Roberts. Yeah.
I don't want to have to go and ask the librarian where the romance is.
I
haven't...
have. I absolutely have.
I haven't gotten there yet.
I have no shame.
I'm not strong enough yet. Well, yeah.
Just here's the secret. Just don't give a fuck. Like I do.
I know. But, like, I
That's
go
why
back
we're-
to that library a lot.
That's why we're doing this.
Okay.
To help break the stigma
That's true,
of talking about garbage romance
Are
novels.
you using our mission against me?
Maybe. All right, so
Let's get into it.
real
Let's
briefly,
crack into it.
trigger warning to start. Want to make sure we go into that.
Mhm.
So I know we've had a couple of these now. Real Stockholmy. Little bit of Stockholm syndrome going into it. So last week you said yours kind of has just a sprinkling of
Sexual assault. Yeah.
we have just like a powdered sugar dusting. I'm sorry. I really should not be joking
Do
during
you
this part
mean a
of it.
cocaine dusting?
A cocaine dusting.
Okay.
Okay. Of sexual assault. Not a little bit there. Trying to think. That's why, if you're new to the podcast, we like the word problematic.
Problematic,
and
yeah.
we will be using that. All right, so I think that's about it. There's not really any abuse or anything in here, which is great because my last one had some.
Yes.
So that was nice. So yeah, I think that's about it. If there's something I missed and I remember on the fly, I'll go into that.
All right. Here we go.
Okay, so here we go. So one thing that I like to do is I like to do a quick overview of what the characters look like before I get into the plot. So you said Catalia, I said Catalia.
Catalia. Okay. Sounds better.
Because every once in a while some people call her Talia. So
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha,
So I think Catalia and Fissa instead of Fisa, but
Okay.
Fisa I don't actually know. It's
Okay.
weird. So Catalia, or Cat, as I will henceforth refer to her, is curvy.
That told me nothing.
Well,
A little bit.
curvy in that when we first meet her, she's wearing leather pants so tight she can't actually get them off later, and
All
she's
right,
like, "This is real
Catwoman."
awkward." Yeah, I'll get into it.
Okay, keep going.
She's short, which I appreciate.
Okay.
I'm short. Long dark hair, bright green eyes, and is 23. And that's actually how they describe her in the book, is long dark hair, bright green eyes. So no weird, like, Celadon or, like, weird
That's so
word.
Okay.
So that's kind of nice,
Yes,
actually. I did appreciate that. Griffin.
Uh-oh.
Stormy gray eyes.
Oh, God.
hawkish nose. I don't actually know what that means. I've heard it before.
I think it means like sharp. Very
Sharp
not
nose.
very sharp. He is probably, to me, what that means. I usually hear hawkish features and I always think like very angular.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they did mention his very like angular face, strong jaw, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Hi Carlos Danger.
Hello, Carlos.
Kitty cat. Black hair. And then she just like straight up waxes poetic about his quote unquote battle chiseled body and wide jaw.
Wait, what? Hold on. Battle chiseled?
Battle
What does that
chiseled.
mean? What I'm imagining is like on every ab there's also like a scar. Oh god.
Toit.
Toit.
Toit like a toiga.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
So
whatever. Fine. Not fine.
Battle chiseled, very angular jaw. Dude is ripped, basically. But she goes on like a full 2-paragraph diatribe of how ripped this dude is.
How long does she go into a description of the girl?
So this is all from Kat's perspective.
Okay.
This is a
gotcha.
first-person kind of deal, which is not, I will say, not something at least I usually see in a romance novel. Usually it's more of the third-person omniscient, but
yes.
it's all from her perspective.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, you do get a little bit of stream of consciousness, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
But you want to talk about...
Do I want to know about the stream of her consciousness?
You want to talk about family issues. Just wait.
I mean, I figured.
Okay, so, opening scene.
Okay.
Guys, when I make my notes, I like to break it into scenes, so that's opening scene. So we start in the circus, in a really dusty kind of desert land called Cinta. So you basically gather that Kat is a soothsayer in this. She plays the part of a soothsayer, like fortune teller kind of thing in the circus. And she is like, the circus is family. Like there's a whole bunch of people there with all these different acts and everything. And you gather pretty quickly that magic is a thing. People without magic is a thing. And also like the gods and stuff are a thing. And if anyone was ever a Greek mythology buff, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Because they take all of the Greek god names and all of that stuff and throw the stories out the window. So
it's like Athena, but it's not Athena?
Well, so Athena and Poseidon and Zeus are all like, they're there, and Hades are all there, and they all have the same, like,
powers.
Athena is war and wisdom, Poseidon is water. That's all the same.
Okay.
But, like, it's not in Greece. Olympus is in the north in this tundra space that's like halfway across the world, and like what? It's weird. And the farther away you get from Olympus, the less magic you have. And in order to get magic, you have to go talk to one of the gods' oracles, where they're giant fish monsters.
Like, look at my face.
Right?
That doesn't make any sense.
And I love Greek mythology,
right.
So I was a little bit like, wait, the fuck?
Well, that's kind of, to me, it's kind of like, if you're going to do that, name the mountain something different, name the god something different, but then use the basic backbone story. You can do that. We've had stories that have done that before.
Right. In my mind, I think that would have been a little less jarring.
Yeah.
Because if you do like mythology like I do, it really kind of throws you for a loop. But that's sort of what we find, what we're introduced to.
Okay.
So Kat is a soothsayer, and she reads people. So like cold reading people kind of thing.
Okay.
But also when someone tells her a lie, she like her insides light on fire. Like it's really painful.
So unpleasant.
And she can tell the truth. Like if someone lies to her, she knows the truth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
so if someone outright says a lie to her, she'd be like, that's wrong, this is what's right. Like, yeah.
Okay, so that sounds horribly unpleasant, because people lie all the fucking time.
Right.
All the time.
So that makes she is what's called the kingmaker, because she can tell when someone is lying or not. Okay. And tell if they're telling the truth.
Okay.
So she is in this, you get a lot of stream of consciousness of vague references to a really shitty childhood. Like,
oh god.
Torture everywhere.
Oh,
real
no.
bad. But also, and I love Kat. She is
good.
both, but not in a good, like in a good bad way.
Oh, okay.
I love her because she is the sassiest motherfucker ever. She is not afraid to give it back. Like, she's like, oh, hell no. So all of her internal monologue is just nothing but pure sass and feeling sorry for herself, which is kind of funny. But also, she's the biggest Mary Sue.
Oh, no! Oh,
that is
no!
Honestly what made me want to read this book is she's just like, well, get into it.
Yeah,
okay,
like,
so
oh god. I mean, like, I should have guessed that for just seeing the cover, but I didn't.
So if we're keeping tabs, she can tell when someone's lying because it hurts real bad. Okay, so that's power number 1. So as she's, like, playing the circus, doing her thing, she notices this dude, which she instantly calls a warlord, because he just looks like a warlord, because in this world there are tribes with warlords, I guess.
Okay. So she looks like Khal Drogo or something like that?
But black hair, hawkish nose, yeah, stormy gray eyes. That dude. This is when she waxes poetic. So it's him, and he is just, like, staring her down.
That's creepy.
With his posse of 4 dudes. Like 4 bodyguard type dudes.
Those poor bodyguards must be like, what the?
Right?
Just staring at that one chick.
That is not the first time I've asked myself that question, Buck. So she's like, okay, that's weird, and, like, wanders off to hang out with her circus buddies, and then comes back and starts actually, like, working the table and stuff. And she's dressed up in, like, really tight leather pants with a buttload of makeup to make her look kind of older, because she's kind of, like, incognito. She's been traveling with the circus to stay incognito, whole thing. And so the bodyguard finally, the warlord comes up to her and, like, starts trying to, like, intimidate her and all this stuff. And she's like, oh, hell no. Like, wait, I actually...
So he immediately comes up to her and just, like, tries to make her feel small. You don't even know her.
Right?
Like, why?
Yeah, essentially. Hang on, I
thought guys come on to me in some pretty strange ways, but that is not one of them.
Right. Because I bookmarked a little bit of this, because it was, like, her sass level is, like, I have a deep appreciation for sass. Okay, so at one point, he's, like, trying to intimidate her and everything, and she's like, all right, I'm over this shit. And she pretends to be, like, terrified of something that's behind him, and gets him to, like, freak out and turn around and, like, try to, you know, protect her, essentially, because God. Of course. And he turns around and goes, what in the hell are you doing? And she says, the gods might punish your gargantuan ego, oh scary one. I'm trying to avoid the lightning bolt.
Okay.
So her entire internal monologue is shit like that.
I'm sure he takes that very well.
It is vastly entertaining. So it's pretty funny.
Okay.
But so he comes up and he asks her, he's like, all right, I want my future told. And she's like, okay, great. And he's like, I want to know which of my bodyguards, like, if my bodyguards are loyal. She's like, well, that's not the future. And he's like, okay, will they remain loyal to me? And she's like, okay. And so she, like, goes through and asks them to see if anyone's lying, and one of them is lying.
Oh, okay.
And so he, like, disarms this dude, and, like, they're about to kill him, and he pulls out...
Wait, who's about to kill who?
The warlord is about to kill the traitor.
Okay.
So the traitor pulls out this vial of, like, magic stuff, I guess, that's, like, gonna kill everyone, turn everyone to stone, everything. And so she, like, grabs onto it, and he breaks it on her.
Oh, no!
And then we learn power number 2.
Oh.
Cat can absorb magic and turn it back on people.
Oh,
so she
that's convenient.
Absorbs magic, it heals her, and then she can store it for later and use it on other people.
Okay,
So
that's convenient.
That's like 3 powers in one.
That also, like, that's like a ton of power. That's kind of like Rogue from X-Men.
We're not done yet.
Okay.
She has more.
Okay. But wait, there's more. Does she also have a ShamWow or, like, something like that?
She is Billy Mays. The Billy Mays of the magic world. But wait, there's more.
Mary Sue and Mary Mays.
Mary Mays. Oh, now I'm sad because I miss Billy Mays.
We'll rest in peace.
Rip
rest in power. Rest in power.
I like that.
Sham power.
Wow. But so she turns it back on this dude, turns him the stone, and the guy's like, how are you not dead? Also, I want you. Not, like, in a sexy way, but in a, you're coming with me, I'm kidnapping you.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay,
Yeah.
Stockholm Syndrome,
Right.
Here we come.
Right? Okay, so so far, pause a second, we have a list of her powers.
Okay.
I have a second list that I'm going to be keeping track of, that I'm calling the near-death experience list. Counter, if you will. We are at 1 on the near-death experience counter, where she absorbs this magic, almost gets turned to stone, but manages to absorb it and turn it back on him. Okay. 1. Keep track. I have it in my notes, don't worry, I'm keeping track for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So, he's like, alright, you're coming with me, and she's like, no, No, I'm not, actually.
As a matter of fucking fact, I'm not.
Right, and runs away. Because power number 3, or 5, whatever you want to call it, she can turn invisible.
What? 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 That is also, like, the most random power. I feel like if for a kingmaker, I'm not gonna immediately think, oh, they could probably turn invisible.
Right?
Like,
Yeah, so she can turn invisible. So she runs away. He finds her.
How?
Good question. And is like, all right, you're coming with me, or I'm going to, like, arrest and kill every one of your friends in this circus, because actually I'm one of the people that just took over this entire country because a coup just happened.
Who the heck?
You're coming with me.
Who is this Kylo Ren
Right?
asshole?
In the middle of and they're not even close to the capital city. Like, he was just wandering the wilderness looking. He didn't even know she was there originally.
You know what he could have done that would have been better that actually Dangus McKeltar did? Offered her money!
Right? No, he's just like, all right, you're coming with me, and puts a magic rope on her, and they leave.
Wait, like Wonder Woman?
It is a magic rope that only he can untie, and I'm calling this the plot rope, because it has apparently an infinite amount of magic that she cannot absorb.
Okay. Okay, the magic rope part reminds me of Stardust.
It's right? A little bit.
Yeah, because like he ties up the star and she has to come with him.
Right. Yeah, it's...
Yeah. Okay.
So...
Fine.
End scene.
Not fine.
End scene 1.
Okay.
And now she is his prisoner. Because so she's tied to him with 4 feet of rope, and that's all she gets at all times. And they're just like, all right, let's go. Yeah. So a little bit, at this point,
what if she needs to pee?
She turns invisible.
Wait, they explained that?
Yeah.
Oh.
When she has to pee, and there's a lot of bath scenes of them, like, finding streams, and she's like, all right, because when she turns invisible, anything she's attached to turns invisible. Not the earth, apparently, but whatever. So, like, the rope and him turn invisible, too. And they can't see each other or themselves. Like... That
is, like, a very, very oddly specific, too.
Right.
Where I feel like the author was, like, trying to make it okay, even though it's absolutely not okay.
It's a little weird. So this entire time, she is just constantly sassing him and giving him shit. Because it's like, what the actual fuck do I do?
Good girl!
Yeah. So she is, like, just giving him hell the entire time. And I appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, she's like, you took me from my... He's like, no, you'll come around.
No! Come around to what? Kidnap?
Right. That's...
What? If I'm gonna come around to that, then I don't want to know what's next.
Right.
Like...
So, we learn a little bit about the world in this time of, like... So, there's 3 countries. They're all ruled by magicians, essentially. And this family from the south that was just normal humans, no magic, somehow was able to come in this country and completely overthrow the magicians that were in charge because they were really corrupt, and are trying to, like, build healing houses and, like, actually bring back the country from, like, the brink of bankruptcy, essentially. Because all these magicians have been hoarding the money for themselves and the people. So, like, he's part of a family that's trying legitimately to do good. So we find that the reason he's out here is to find powerful magicians to come to his side to try to get a little bit of support for the magicians who hate them now because they got deposed. So there's...
Okay, utilitarianism, basically.
That is about as much explanation as to why he shows up and kidnaps her.
It's not a good excuse to kidnap somebody.
No, I mean, I don't know if there is a good excuse
That's
to kidnap
true.
somebody.
There really isn't, but...
Right. But that's his excuse to
and
kidnap.
it's also kind of like he's trying to bring these people on his side, and I feel like the magicians aren't going to take kindly to a chained up woman.
Right. Exactly.
I would like to think.
Right. And it comes out pretty quickly that none of these, like, warlords and this warlord and his bodyguards have any fucking clue about magic, which is pretty funny because she does.
Okay.
And they know nothing, or very little anyway.
Okay.
So it's kind of funny. But so they somehow managed to get this magical rope and, like, make it work, but whatever.
I love the magic rope thing. It's just such a great little addition.
Well, and, like, so, like,
it's not just a rope. It's a magic rope.
That has infinite power that she can't absorb. Whatever. So
where did it come from?
Apparently it was in the palace hoarded with all the other treasures. I don't know. Kinky.
Oh god though. But then he can, like, do the tying to the bed thing.
Kinky. It's bad.
No, but
Not
it's so
good.
bad.
Not good. So There's a lot of, throughout all of this, there's a lot of internal, oh my god, my childhood was really shitty monologue, but it's all real vague. Like, you get little bits of it, not a lot.
Okay.
So along with the magical rope, kind of, and all of the weird bath scenes, the first time, like, he's like, you smell, take a bath. And she's like, no. And he's like, do it. So, like, he basically drags her and, like, dumps her in the water. And so she turns invisible. And she, like, washes all the makeup off and everything. And then she's, like, about, like, trying to get undressed to take a bath and can't get her leather pants off because they're too tight. So she's like, all right, I need your help.
Does he cut her out of the pants?
No, he pulls him off, but I'm pretty sure she kicks him on accident. Yeah.
Oh my god. Like,
it's weird.
Well, it's also like,
it's hilarious.
Why,
he loses his shit. He laughs his ass off.
Why do you need pants that are that tight if you live in that era? I don't think anybody was really making pants that tight.
So they explain it initially that, like, if you're in the circus, you have to look like you stand out in order to fit in. It's that whole thing of look like a brigand.
That's a very unnecessary detail to have ridiculously tight pants.
Right.
That's
so she has, and the pants come back into play later.
Oh no.
Oh, mostly in reference.
Well,
she doesn't put the pants on again, but
does she put her pants on after she couldn't get them off? Does she put them back on?
That's a good question. I don't think they ever mentioned that.
Well, because I'm like, does she put on like his pants? Because they would.
I don't actually know. For being honest.
Maybe she's just walking around naked.
Well,
probably not.
She's not naked, but I don't know if she puts the leather pants on. Now I might go back and try to figure that out later.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay.
Maybe I'll put that in the show notes. Yeah. So they're traveling, and he just keeps saying, like, you'll come around. It's fine.
What? To what?
Right? Yeah.
To what? That's the thing. Like, is it to kidnap? To me? To like...
I put this in my special notes. Griffin is basically a 5-year-old. So it also turns out he's super fucking possessive about her. Like, it's...
Is it like the soulmate shit?
No, well, every once in a while, like, okay, so at one point they are getting tailed by people that are, like, mercenaries, essentially.
Okay.
Not for reasons because of her, but in general.
Okay.
And so he goes off to scout and, like, ties her to one of the other, like, bodyguards or whatever. Ew. And they're, like, so his posse are fantastic. I love them all.
Oh, that's great.
They're, like, super, like...
Are they very confused?
They're like, protective older brother type characters that are just give her sass back. So they're just, like, sassing each other constantly.
Cute.
So it's really funny, because, like, they kept being like, hey, do you want a bath? I know you like to take baths a lot. And she's like, no. And they're like, are you sure? Because you two go off and take baths a lot. She's like, no.
And that's all they're doing, right? They're just taking baths.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And so finally, like, they're, like, messing with each other and, like, kind of flirting in, like, a giving each other shit kind of way. Okay. And she, like, actually starts to have a little bit of fun because they're just treating her like one of the guys. Yeah, a human, essentially. And then Homeboy comes back and is like, what the hell? You're being so, like, oh my god. Like, he's super possessive about her. It's weird.
That's so weird. It's like, I can't have you be happy with other people.
Like, they're cool. He's a little bit of a toddler. Yeah.
It's like, and also, it's like, why do you think I'm being a jerk to you?
Right.
Why? Right. Do you see anything right about this situation?
Right. Well, and they're, like, trying to convince her to be like, look, we know you're a magician. Become part of our team. Because we'd really like it if you, like, you know, we think you're cool. And, like, so and a little bit of...
Has he offered that to her?
Yeah. Okay, actually, he does too.
Okay.
But she's still like, no, you still kidnapped me. That's still not okay.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But, one thing that... Sort of a snapshot into, like, this team and why I love them so much. Mm-hmm. Like, she gets horrible nightmares. Aww. Like, night terror nightmares. Makes because sense. Of childhood stuff. And so, like, when Griffin's out, but she doesn't get him when she's with Griffin.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
But when he's out scouting, she's, like, tied to one of the other dudes and, like, has to sleep, like, 4 feet away from them. And so she wakes up, like, punching him in the throat, like, thrashing around, all this stuff. And they're, like, freaking out, like, oh, my God, are you okay? And they end up, like, he, like... squishes up beside her to, like, keep her calm. One dude sits by and just, like, starts stroking her hair slightly and, like, are you okay? Like, trying to calm her down. Right? And they do this multiple times of, like, okay, time to help. And
does
like,
Griffin know about this?
Yeah.
Okay.
He gets weird about it.
Well, of course he does, but, like, I was just wondering. He should more be like, thanks for taking care of my girl, homeboys.
The dudes are cool. They're fun. I like them.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're hilarious. Griffin is a toddler.
Difficult.
A possessive toddler. Yeah, so they're traveling around, these people are shadowing them, they kill them, it's a thing. And so they end up going to a market city because she is giving them endless shit, and she's like, they keep feeding me goat cheese? I hate goat cheese. And like, all this, like, this is dumb, and I'm complaining. And they're like, you don't stop complaining. And she's like, yeah, I do. No, you don't. Well, maybe if you gave me this and this and this. Infinite sass.
I mean, honestly, I probably would too. I'm like, if you're gonna kidnap me, at least like make it a little nicer.
Right.
Also, poor girl, if she went through her period at that time, that would be horrible.
Oh, that comes up later.
Oh no!
Not in the way you're thinking.
Okay.
So they go to this market town because they're like, fine, if we buy you like some shit, you'll shut up.
You shut up, please.
So they go, and they get there, and he's like, all right. He gives everyone like his bodyguard people essentially their wages because they're his soldiers. Okay. And he gives her too. So like, you're part of the team, and she's like, I don't want it. And he's like, all right, I'll keep it because I know you want like, you know, soap and whatever else. I'll get it for you. Okay. So he like gets her stuff, and as they're walking through, she bumps into this dude who's really high on a magical drug. Oh no. And accidentally absorbs it all.
This is good.
So she gets high as balls. Like,
poor other guy though, because now he's no longer high.
I know, he gets pissed. He like tries to take it back, and they like threaten it. It's a whole thing. Okay. It's a fight. But so she's like, everything's pink and ooh shiny, and running off and like going everywhere, and it's really funny.
Griffin
actually
loves that.
Oh, they're laughing their asses off and like trying to like, and she's dragging him places because they're still attached at the hip.
That's so funny.
and she actually says, she's like, oh, I can give this to other people too because she can do that. So she's like, everyone should be having fun. So she tries to give some to Griffin and it doesn't work. She's like,
why does it work?
That's weird. And so she gives it to one of the other bodyguards, and he, like, instantly becomes high and is like, oh, shit! so they're all, like, her and him are both high and, like, freaking out, and she's, like, running all over the market and everything. And so there's they go on this whole adventure with him trying to keep track of her and keep her in, like, from doing anything stupid. Mm-hmm. And she ends up coming off of it, like, hard. Crashes hard. And she sort of wakes up and has this realization of, at one point during this running around this market town, she, like, falls on something and scratches herself and bleeds a little bit. And she's like, oh shit, they're coming for me. Because apparently, if she bleeds and she doesn't dilute her blood, the people from her past are going to come get her.
Wait, what?
They can track her based on her blood.
Wait, no, that makes no sense. I know it's a woman. That makes no sense.
They do, at one point in the book, way later, reference, do you know how hard it is when I have my period?
Yeah, like...
They at least acknowledge that fact.
But even if she's on her period, like, she's gonna have a waist that's covered in blood.
Yeah, well, she burns it.
Oh my god.
So, she tells them, before naturally passing out, oh shit, they're gonna come kill me. And they're like, who? And then she passes out.
Oh, helpful.
Right.
That is such a Mary Sue thing.
Right?
Just passing out at the most opportune moment.
Super Mary Sue. So rather than, they're like, well, we can't take her back to the main city because that's where the evil family might get her. And the evil, they're following us. Shit. So they essentially make her tell them that, like, there's people from this super creepy, like, matriarch character from this other, like, country is coming after me because I managed to escape when I was little. They used to torture me. They used me to tell lies in court and, like, persecute people for the tiniest, like, falsehoods and yada, yada, yada. Okay. They're coming to get me now. And so they, like, wander around for a while, and they end up, there's, like, 30 people. Like, a party, essentially, of 30 people are, like, hunting her now. And one of them is actually one of the royals from this other town. Oh, no. So they're like, she's like, okay, well, you have to help let me fight, because I can. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I don't know if it counts as a power. She's really good with knives.
That's fucking cool. I don't...
Yeah. Throwing knives, especially. Yeah. She's like, you have to untie this rope, because there's 5 of us against 30 people.
Yeah, you need to...
You need me. And he's like, no, you need to run. And she's like, no, I'm gonna help. And so
he was willing to let her go, though?
No.
Okay.
What ends up happening is, here you find out that there is a thing called an unbreakable vow that only magicians can take.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So if you're a magician and you give your word to someone and you break that, the gods punish you. So he makes her essentially take an unbreakable vow to never try to escape from him.
Oh, that's so problematic.
Excuse me while my eyes roll back into my head.
Roll into the sunset.
Into the sunset. I was like, God damn it.
Oh my god. So wait, and how do you trick someone into doing that?
He didn't trick her.
He doesn't.
She was like, okay, well, either we're both going to die, or I'm going to do this. Like, it was like, I have to do this.
Well, did he have to do it forever? Couldn't he have done it for like, until all 30 fighters are gone?
As long as I live, is what his quote was. As long as I live.
Oh my god.
Right?
No. Well, also, like, if she's the one saying it, she should have said, like, okay, I'll do it until the 30 people are gone or whatever. Like, don't do it until he dies.
They both have to agree to make them break a vow. And he is not beholden to this because he's not a magician. Only she is.
Ugh. I hate that so much.
Right? So, she straight up murders everybody. Not
all
them.
on her own?
So they fight a lot of the regular people, but anything magic related, she, like, so the main dude is, like, again, one of the royals. He, like, comes at her. He's one of these guys that had, like, tortured her in the past. He has fire magic. So he's, like, using these fire whips, and she's like, oh, bitch, I got this. You haven't seen me since I can do this trick. Yeah. Absorbs it, and essentially explodes him and half his army.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, good for her.
Wrecks shit.
Okay.
Which is great, except there is, apparently at the very end, one person that happens to be alive that she missed, that shoots an arrow, and she takes it for Griffin.
God damn it!
Near-death experience number 2! Yeah, so
wait, she takes it for Griffin, so now she's mortally wounded,
yes,
right? Okay.
Arrow in the lung.
Oh, and I'm sure Griffin is, like, totally chill.
Think again. He freaks the fuck out.
Yeah, because she's his property.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh shit, okay, well, we have to go back to the circus.
That's not my first thought.
Because, so, how much do you know about Greek mythology?
Enough, I don't know.
Okay,
yeah.
So the circus is run by Selena.
Okay.
Who is, in Greek mythology, the goddess of the moon. It is never explained whether she is the goddess of the moon in this. It is explained that she is totally banging Hades. But, outside of that, you just know she's a really good healer.
Okay.
So she's like, you have to take me to her, I'm gonna die. So magically, the circus happens to be close.
Thank God.
I don't know how. They've been traveling
for It's like the night circus. It's like just
it's
suddenly there.
They've been traveling for like a solid couple weeks at this point.
They were just following her, apparently.
I guess.
Yeah.
So he manages to get her there just in time and just bursts in saying, fix her or I murder you all.
Oh my god.
Which you don't say to a possible goddess. This
guy is very Kylo Ren-esque. Like, I have to say. Like,
So I have never seen that movie. I haven't seen that movie yet.
Oh, right.
So
yeah, okay.
I trust your judgment on that.
Yeah.
But so she apparently brings Kat back from the brink of death, and you find out that Kat has a ton of scars on her arms, which are they're called death marks, and it's when you are close to death, a healer can essentially enchant your blood and put it back in your body and hope for the best. And you might come back. So all of those scars are from when she was tortured when she was like 9, where they beat her almost to death and brought her back. So she has a new one now.
Oh my god. Did Griffin see all these, I'm presuming?
Yeah, he's seen all
and
these.
He's like, oh god.
Yeah, natural possessive.
Guess she got baggage.
Oh baby.
Oh baby.
She has hell of baggage.
Does he have baggage?
Oh my god.
Is
no.
he angst? He's
no.
Oh wow, okay.
No baggage on him.
Alright.
She is just nothing but.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's got it for both. On
okay.
lock. Yeah. So Selena fixes her, and this time she goes with them of her own volition.
Okay, so
right, partly because she has the vow that she made.
Oh no, like a lot, probably.
But also,
she doesn't have any choice. I forgot about that significant detail.
Right, but also because she's like, well, the evil people kind of found me already. They're probably gonna be finding me again. I don't want to hurt my circus friends.
That's true.
And I kind of like the bodyguards. Not him. The bodyguards are cool.
Okay.
So she goes with them because she's like teaching them knife throwing and they're teaching her how to grapple and like she's just one of the guys with them, which is awesome. See, everything but Griffin is fine. And
which is so unfortunate.
And the just sheer level of Mary Sue in this character. I love it.
She doesn't sound like a Mary Sue to me.
She's like super OP. And
what's that mean?
Overpowered.
Oh.
And then super, like, damaged. And in my mind, that's
okay,
like...
that's true.
Right. But she's damn entertaining.
Okay, yeah.
At least for the first half of the book.
Right.
And then it gets a little bit... Why am always so emotional around him. It gets a little bit like that.
Okay.
But at least initially, she's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they beat these whole people, and they're like, all right, it's time for us to go back to the city now.
Okay.
So they're heading to the city, and this is scene 4. And they, during all this talking about, she actually starts to tell them a little bit about, like, people who are after her and all that stuff, because it's kind of necessary, and because Griffin wants her to, and Griffin gets everything he wants, because he's 5. Yeah.
I'm not bitter or anything,
no. Not at all. So she tells them about, like, well, the other countries have these dragons that are, like, the protectors of these countries. There's a lot going on in this world.
Dang, yeah.
And they can control them, and you guys are actually the only ones that don't have one, because when you deposed the previous leaders, everything that was controlling that dragon went away, and it went away. So y'all are fucked. Okay. And they're like, well, can you get us one? She's like, I don't know, maybe. But so they're traveling back to the city, and what shows up? But the dragon. That belongs to the lady that's going after her. Whose name is Andromeda, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Does she, like, bond with the dragon?
She tries, and it doesn't work. Because she's never done it before.
Okay.
But you know this is being controlled by the crazy lady that's coming after her, Andromeda. And this dragon is like, it's like a dragon centaur. From the waist up, it's a lady. From the waist down, it's a dragon. And it breathes fire. It's weird.
Oh, okay, no.
Someone just
sounds like some really bad Inuyasha creature or something.
Sounds like someone took Greek mythology and threw it in a blender.
Oh,
and then you get this, you get the book. So this, are you ready for this shit?
Yeah.
Okay. So Griffin is like, trying like, okay, we'll, run, we'll hold off. She's like, no, it's coming after me anyway. Get your asses out of here. I got this.
I love how Griffin, it's always like that though, where she's like, no, I'm going to do this.
Right.
You're going to go away and let me deal with it.
Exactly. Well, and at this point it's like, no, I don't want them to die. I'm gonna die anyway. Let's do this.
Yeah.
So she runs after it. Turns out she can absorb creatures' magic too. So she absorbs 5. I've lost count of how many powers. So she absorbs its fire breath and like fights it off. And then finally it's like, okay, well I'm gonna kill these fuckers instead who are watching all this.
Oh no.
And she's like, okay, no, I'm gonna try to control it. Doesn't work. So it takes her, like, because that's what she wants.
She's being kidnapped again?
Essentially.
Oh no.
And she gets up in the air and she's like, well, goodbye, cruel world, and jumps off. Into a lake.
Why? Why?
She's gonna die anyway. She's like, I don't want to go back.
She wants to die in her own terms.
Right.
Okay.
And before this, when she absorbed the creature fire, she also basically got burned to a crisp before her healing thing took over. So this is near-death experiences number 3 and 4! Yeah! Right. So she beats this thing. Yeah. On her own.
Very good girl.
Right? And again, Griffin's like, don't ever do that again. Don't ever sacrifice. I will protect you. Yada yada. And she's like, bitch, please.
Can't. Well, here's the thing. He can't.
I know.
It's like
we learn at this point the reason that back to that drug thing. The reason it didn't affect him is because he is not affected by harmful magic.
Okay, but even if he's not
both special snowflakes.
Even if he's not affected by harmful magic, like he also can't fight battles on the level that she can.
Right.
So like
she riggedy wrecks some shit.
Can you imagine if she like with the dragon just stepped back and was like, you know what? All right, why don't I just let you handle that?
They all
would have been dead.
Right, pretty much. Yeah. So
okay,
we're at number 4 for near-death experiences. So they finally make it to the city. She meets the family and she's like, I'm not gonna like these people. They're not strong enough to control this this country. It's gonna be a shit show. Turns out they're just really nice people. And she's like, God damn it. I gotta help them learn shit. So she like starts teaching them court etiquette and is like helping with everything. We meet the rival love interest, which is Daphne, who had
a chick?
Yeah, who had a thing for Griffin. And
oh wait, I thought it was gonna be some girl-on-girl action.
No, I wish.
That would have been great.
Yep. No.
We had a bisexual main character.
She basically has it out for Kat because she's like, Griffin was mine. That whole thing.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah. So they are like, she's helping the royal family get ready to like, they're gonna be having this big event to like invite all the nobles and like try to solidify their power here in a little while. So she's trying to like bring them into being a royal family. This is how you curtsy. This is how you greet people. This is the history, like all this stuff.
Okay.
And one thing they do is they're like, okay, well, we're doing all these healing houses and like public works things in this city. It's like a day away. We're gonna go there, do some stuff there, and then come back and start getting ready for that. So they go and they leave her behind because protection reasons.
Hasn't she already like way above and beyond proven that?
That's what I said.
Was it? how much do you have to ignore? Like, the fact that I was tortured as a child and survived, the fact that
she murdered a fucking dragon?
Yeah, she murdered a fucking dragon, 15 plus people that she killed, probably, like, with magic powers.
Just
like,
wait.
When are you going to realize you can't protect me?
Right. Well, so she ends up having this, like, oracle dream, essentially, which she gets from time to time at night of they're going to be attacked and everyone's going to die.
Ooh.
So, because they didn't...
Another power.
Yeah.
So, like, number 6.
Hey, yeah, you're right. So, right? So, she, like... Because they didn't take an army with them. So she's like, fuck. So she, musters the army, essentially, and is like, all right, let's go. And she, like, goes, like, ahead of the army and just, like, gallops headlong there and gets there right as people, like, the people are coming out of the woods to attack people. So she gets there right on time and rages, loses her goddamn mind. And turns out she still has all that fire breath from the dragon.
Oh, wow.
She melts 30 people.
Oh, wow.
Just
okay.
straight up incinerate.
They
literally describe it as goo.
Ew, that's so gross.
I was like, damn, girl, kid.
Ooh.
So she, like, wrecks everybody's shit. And in the whole thing, Griffin gets stabbed in the chest.
Of course he does.
Of course he does.
Yeah.
Near-death experience number 5.
Okay.
I'm counting for everybody involved.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
number 5. Him included. So she essentially tries to get a healer to help. Healer won't because she's like, no, fuck this guy. He, like, deposed the magicians. She's like, all right. So she kills the healer by absorbing all of their magic powers.
Oh my god.
And
she really loves this guy, doesn't she?
Maybe. I don't know. Stockholm Syndrome, a little bit.
Well, I know, but, like,
right.
Come on, she's still willing to kill a guy.
Like, uses all of this power to try to heal him, and then starts giving her life force, and almost kills herself. No. Number 6! To heal him.
He must have been really dead.
He actually legitimately was dead for a couple, like, seconds.
Oh, no. He's only mostly dead.
But she's a special snowflake and can bring him back.
Yeah.
So she almost kills herself.
She's not a special snowflake. She's like a special snowstorm.
Right?
Like, with all these
I'm a shirt. I'm a special snowstorm. Yes, I'm a special blizzard. So she ends up almost killing herself, and there's no way to bring her back. Like, the healers are like, no, like, she basically killed herself to bring you back.
The healers watching all of this.
Right.
And it's just like,
y'all are a train wreck. Jesus. So they're like, you have to give it back to her. And he's like, oh shit. He's the only person that can't do that because
internal conflict.
Damage magic doesn't work on him. So she can't absorb magic from him.
Yeah.
So do you maybe see where this is going as far as, but if we mix our blood, it'll
help.
Do you see where the whole mixing of bodily fluids things is
going?
No.
No, please God, no. No, please God, no.
It gets weird. Gets real weird. Yeah.
Oh God,
so
no.
They go back to the palace and they finally get down and dirty. After a lot of sexual tension.
So there's been sexual
tension this whole time.
Right,
mostly on his part, and her just being like, fuck, why am I attracted to you? Damn it.
Well, yeah, that's...
Well, and then there's this whole angsty subplot of like, no, I can't, because if I love him, then the crazy lady will go after him. And so she's like really like they're getting it, she's like, no, I can't do it. And then they get close, no, I can't do it. Because he's like, I get what I want. It's like,
I love how your voice just is like, it's up here and then it just
drops.
I get what I want.
So they're like about to do the horizontal monster mash.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Hey, happy Halloween. Well, we're recording this close to Halloween. It's gonna come out later. So she's like about to say no again after like 4 times in this one sexy bit scene. And literal divine intervention. Poseidon's just like, hey bitch, get to getting. I gave this dude to you. He's a present from me. Go at it.
Wait, what? Okay, so this again is like my first book where Poseidon just suddenly appears and is like, no, that's not how the plot should go.
Guess who it is?
Her dad?
Poseidon is her dad.
We need to t-shirt that says goddamn Poseidon.
Poseidon is my dad.
Oh god.
So props to her father for for playing wingman, which is not weird at all. And so
this is the one good thing I could give you. Dad, it's kind of shitty. Honey, this is the one good thing I could give to you.
So it's like this whole thing of like literal out-of-body experience about to get down. Like she is about to get down with Griffin.
Right. Okay.
An out-of-body experience father going, just fuck him already, and then putting her back. Yeah.
Well, and it's
much.
also kind of like, wait, Dad, this is when you decide to like
Right.
become Dad?
Well,
like,
no,
not when I was being
he's been-
tortured.
He's been getting a little bit of divine intervention throughout this whole thing. Just a little bit.
Okay.
Like, he saves her
Still.
when she jumps into the lake.
What about this whole deal about her being tortured when she was 9 years old?
no,
Hey,
apparently
Dad,
that
where
didn't-
are you?
Yeah, where have you been, Pops? Yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
Right.
You can't stop torture. Oh no, but you can just like toss a man into my life.
Right, exactly. So, okay, so I promise we're getting towards the end, guys. This is a roller coaster of emotions. So Poseidon literally intervenes to be like, yo, get to fucking. And they do. And turns out she's magically healed because exchanging body fluids and whatever.
Because semen? Because
Yeah.
you had magical semen?
No. We're not that crass. Because love. But yeah, because semen. So, right?
He's got... Oh, God.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Does
So-
she enjoy the sex?
She does.
Okay,
Very much
good.
so.
All right, good.
Yep. Uh-huh. We didn't... Yeah.
Was it a spicy scene? Was it spicy?
It was surprisingly realistic.
Oh.
A surprise, like, not like a porn star level description. It was just like, yeah, that's how sex works. Great. It got the job done, but it was,
Alright,
surprisingly accurate, I gotta say.
Alright.
But so after all this, there's the ball. That whole thing, it starts to go really well because they're still throwing this event.
A ball scene?
Yeah,
oh,
well,
right,
they're
yes.
still throwing the event.
Okay.
So she's like wandering around like invisible, weeding out liars because that's kind of her
cool.
trying to figure out who's going to support them, who's going to not. Because she's like
Okay.
at this point like, okay, these people are actually, they're idiots because they're so nice, but they're actually like good people. I want to help them.
Okay.
So she's like, but it's a lot because you're in a room full of nobles. There's a lot of lies.
Yeah.
So she's like
Burning
constantly
up on the
in
inside,
pain
yeah.
and has a headache and all this shit. And she's like, and things start to get a little weird with Griffin. Like he starts to be like he's not in charge of this country. He's not the king. His sister is like the queen. He's second in command. He chose to not be first, and even though he's like a natural born leader and all this stuff, because you start to get this whole like, no. I think Poseidon chose me for a quest to take over all of the kingdoms. So it starts to get a little weird with him. But so she's like starting to get a little like, okay, I need to leave. I don't feel great. Like, I need to get out of here. I gotta go.
Yeah.
Peace out, homeboy.
Okay.
So she leaves, and she's like, okay, I need to just chill, calm the fuck down. I'm going to the bathhouse, because this is kind of Greek-esque. So
Yeah,
there are
okay,
bathhouses and
okay.
stuff. So she goes to there's like the royal bathhouse, which she's been given leave to use, and she's like, no, I'm gonna go to the normal one that the soldiers and stuff use, because she still hangs out with her homeboys, who are the soldiers.
Yeah, but at the bathhouse?
She didn't hang out with them there, but like they have like barracks and like, so she's comfortable in that area.
Okay.
So she goes there. So she goes into the ladies' side of the bathhouse and is relaxing and like there by herself, and she's like, oh, thank God. And Daphne comes out of the corner and stabs her in the stomach. Near-death experience number 7!
7.
We're at 7.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, straight up just like,
If I were her,
shanks
I'd be like, all right, it's been 45 minutes. It
I
looks
haven't
like
almost died. Right.
It's coming.
Right.
Poseidon.
Right. So she's like, ah, fuck. And Daphne is like, ha, now that you're dead, Griffin will be all mine. And so
that argument, I'm always like, wait,
she has
what?
my favorite response to this entire thing. She pulls the dagger out of her stomach and punches it through her eye. Straight up stabs, throws the dagger and gets her in the eye.
Dang.
Murders her.
Yeah, homegirl.
Right? And she's bleeding out in a pool.
Yeah.
So she, is able to get help from her homeboys, the guard people.
My favorites.
Right. And Griffin comes in and is like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Freaks his shit
Well,
out.
just carry her back to your room, have sex with her, everything will be fine.
Well, she's, dying.
Well, again.
Right. Well, so she, they find there's 3 healers in this entire town, apparently,
Wait,
at this point.
What?
One of them is the husband to the chick that she murdered.
Oh, good.
Right.
Fine,
so
great.
he's like, I'm not helping her.
Wait, this chick was already married and she was still going after Griffin?
No, the healer.
Oh,
From,
okay.
when she brings Griffin back.
Oh, right,
So
okay.
her husband is there as a healer.
Okay.
And he's like, I'm not, no, she murdered my wife. Fuck that shit. So Griffin snaps his neck.
Oh my god. Well, great, Griffin. Now you're down to 2 in your whole city.
He just keeps screaming, fix her to people.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, I'm looking at the time. I'm way over.
Okay.
But
that's okay.
So and she so they like get this little apprentice who's like this sweet girl who tries really hard, does her best.
Aww.
And she helps, but she doesn't completely do it. And then they're able to find one more guy and he like brings her back.
Okay.
So she is alive and recovering.
Okay.
Aunt Carlos just jumped into my lap.
I want it.
Hi, buddy. So if you hear purring, that's what it is. And so they're able to, like, she's recovering and she survives. Griffin at this point, throughout all of this, is like smashing chairs and like basically throwing a temper tantrum in fear. Or
no.
He's a toddler. And surprise, the circus is in town.
The circus is actually just like low-key stalking her.
Right. So because they like tried to get Selena to come help, but she wasn't gonna be able to get there in time.
Okay.
And so Kat wakes up to Selena tearing Griffin a new one of, I had her for 7 years and she didn't so much as scratch her goddamn self, and you've had her for a month and a half and she's almost died twice, which actually it was 7 times, Selena. But you're close.
Well, actually, one of those was Griffin. So
6 times, Selena.
Okay, come on, Rachel. Give credit where credit is due.
I can be reasonable. So she's like tearing him, and Kat's like, no, it's fine. I get it. It's not totally his fault. It is.
No, it's absolutely his fault.
So when Selena leaves, she basically like takes Griffin aside and is like, I swear to God, if you do so much as hurt her anymore, I will. And she like goes off with this stream of threats. Selena's awesome.
Selena's sweet though, because she's like trying to be protective. Yeah.
So how do you think this book ends?
Oh no! Wait, I feel like we haven't even really hit a almost real plot. We've been kind of.
They fuck each other, and then she wakes up in the morning, and it's over. Like end of book.
Wait, what?
So
we need to do shit that just says that. Wait, what?
So they literally get to a point where he's like, okay, but you have to finally tell me who you are, like, because she's never told him like specifically who she is. Like she has all this information. She's told him who's after him and all this stuff, but never like she's on the run for a reason.
Yeah. And
so she's like, okay, in the morning I will tell you. They get to getting. They wake up in the morning. She's like, I'm not looking forward to this. End of book.
That is the dumbest ending ever.
Okay, listeners, this is, I would say, my biggest pet peeve in any novel ever.
Yeah.
Is abrupt endings. I hate.
Yeah.
Like, it was just over.
Yeah,
like,
it's just over.
What the
well,
fuck?
you know what that is, though? I mean, for me, what that says is that the author just wants you to pick up the next book. And they're just trying to sell the next book because they know that they can hook you in.
Well, and and that's the worst part, is like, I kind of want to read the next one, even though it's not a great book.
It's not a great book. I mean,
I love the characters, I will say. Well, everyone except Griffin.
So, okay, so if we're going to go into a review part.
Yes, let's get to a review a little bit.
So we're going to slide into review.
Yeah.
The only thing I actually didn't really like about this plot, it was like very nonsensical in the sense of like the gods and stuff like that.
Well, there's
Griffin.
A lot.
I didn't like Griffin. He's the only bad point.
Absolutely agree. Like, so Griffin is like a solid 1.
Yeah.
If that, out of 5. Like, he's just, there is not a lot. His entire thing, so I have in my special notes some quotes of why he's a 5-year-old. I get what I want. You'll come around. I want to be king of everything. Don't tell me. You won't tell me what I want to know. Pout. And you won't do what I want. Pout. He just pouts. It was one of those, it's very much like I'm fated for you, I know you're mine. Because the gods say so. And that's that's his character. That's all he really is. Kat is like super well developed and like has all this shitty, I mean, she's a little bit of a Mary Sue because she's super overpowered and can do all this shit, but she's a fucking badass and her snark is amazing. And
he just brings her down. He totally drags her down.
He really does. Well, go ahead.
This is a good segue though into, I was thinking like for our criteria of romance novels, what was that again?
The Bookdale test.
The Bookdale test. One of them should be that both characters, the heroine and the hero, need to have ulterior motives that are outside the romance.
Well, and they need to build each other up.
Yeah, they need to build each other up. So something around that, because I feel like he does have ulterior motives, because I mean, wanting to be king of everything is an ulterior motive, but like all he does is bring her down. Like they have to be strong together, and they're not strong at all together.
Exactly. And like, I love her character in the first half of the book. Like, she's incredible. And as soon as like she starts to be like, I kind of like this dude, she starts to get like, she's not dependent on, I mean, she's a little bit, but it's just, she loses some of her spice, which is
she gives a lot of herself to this this guy
Right.
who doesn't have a lot of substance himself.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like, she
which is
almost,
really...
Yeah, so I liked her more in the beginning than I did at the end.
It also makes the other characters around him feel less believable, because it's like, with his posse though, it's like, if I had friends like that, if I had like the bodyguard friends like that, I would expect them to call me out when I'm doing something wrong.
Right.
And the fact that they're not, and also his family is not, kind of takes away from
Right. Well, they're
them.
all like, oh, that's Griffin. Like,
Yeah, and like, that's not okay. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I have 2 brothers, and I call them out on their shit all the
call
time.
people and
So
shit. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, like, so Griffin, I would get a solid 1 out of 5. There's not a lot there. Kat is like, she's a solid, like, she's a 4.
You think she's a 4? Wow.
So there's a lot that I didn't get into on, like, backstory and stuff. Like,
Okay.
she's super well developed. Like, you
that's
get
good.
a really good sense of, like, so there's this whole thing that the lady that is, it's never explicitly said, but the lady that's coming after her is, like, the leader of this other country, who has, she's, like, this matriarch who, like, leads by, like, pitting her children against each other and, like, really brutal and all this stuff. And so she, like torturing people, whole 9 yards, which is what she did to Kat.
Okay.
And she has, like, 8 kids, and there's only 4 left.
Oh, dang.
And one of them went missing. Because she's, like, this daughter and her sister were super close, and her mom's like, well, the people like you because you're nice people, and we can't have that. So you guys need to murder each other. And, like, pits them against each other, essentially.
This is like Gossip Girl shit.
It's hardcore. And so, like, one of them dies, like, the sister dies, and the other one basically disappears. And so Kat's like, yeah, it was really nice when she disappeared because everyone was in an uproar, and I was able to escape. She's totally the lost princess. Like, it is really, like, that's
real
basically
obvious. Well, because they said on the back cover, too, like, a matriarch or something that wanted to kill her.
Right. Well, and I will say, this author has foreshadowing on lock. Like, there is a hella amount of foreshadowing in this book. And it's, like, it's actually done pretty well. Like,
if only Griffin would have died at the end of this book, because she could have gone on to, like, do her own thing.
Right. Yeah, so, like, Kat is actually super well developed, and I like her. Beginning Kat, 4.
Love. Yeah.
End Kat,
That's
3.5.
Well, that's kind of how I felt, honestly, with, like, the books that I read. The Kiss of the Highlander and the Dark Highlander.
The dude brings her down.
Well, because not that, it's Gwen. Gwen, like, falls in love with Drewston, and then, like, all of her personality is just gone.
Right.
Gone.
So maybe when she realizes she loves the dude, she still has a personality
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Or at least as strong of a personality as she did before.
Yeah, and he doesn't try to change her.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but I will say, like, I'm gonna add a temporary category for supporting cast, because I, like, loved his little bodyguard people. They were, like, seriously, I took some notes of, like, stuff that they do, like, they're all about, like, they flirt with her in a
playful
friend
way,
kind of
yeah.
way, and, like, sass, like, they use innuendos and ongoing jokes constantly throughout the book. So they're like they make a joke about they're, like, sparring or whatever, and he smacks the blade on her butt, and she's like, what the hell? And so spanking becomes an innuendo throughout the entire book, and they're just, like, giving her shit for it constantly.
That's so funny.
And, like, shit like that, and they, like, at one point she's rooming in the barracks with them, and it's, like, one of their room, her room, another room, like, one of their rooms, so she's, like, in between them.
Right.
And, like, she'll wake up screaming in the middle of the night, and they, like, rush in, almost every night rush in, or, like, sitting next to her, like, calling, like, they're, like, big brothers. They're so cool.
So cute.
Yeah, so, like, the characters are great. Like, I really like every character except Griffin. Honestly, every other character is so well defined.
Which is weird.
Yeah,
like,
it's
like, all the other characters are so great, and then you have this one character that's just absolute garbage.
Right. So,
why?
Right. Exactly.
You know how to write a good character.
Exactly. Also, how the hell does she take down a fucking dragon and then almost basically die from a knife to the stomach from a jealous lover? There's probably some symbolism there, probably, but I don't feel like going into it.
That's very true, and I hadn't thought about it. It's Yeah. Okay, well, what do you think about this book overall? What's the rating?
So story-wise, like, overall, I'd say maybe a 3. Like, it's pretty down the middle as far as story goes. The characters themselves, besides Griffin, are fantastic. But the story is okay.
Yeah,
it's kind of all over the place. But, I mean, it's not fantastic. It's not awful. I kind of want to read the second book because it stops so abruptly, which is exactly what she wants me to do. And I almost can't on principle. But
I mean, you could look up the first chapter, just see what she has to say. Like, that's the only curiosity thing I have is, like, okay, what's her backstory? Because we still don't 100% know.
Yeah, it's
I want to
pretty
hear her
easy
admit
to
that.
pull it out, like, because she's, like, there's so much heavy foreshadowing, and you get so much of her internal dialogue. Yeah. But, yeah, it's never explicitly said, but you can pretty much assume.
All right.
Yeah,
Whew.
so...
A lot.
Right? It was
I'm
weird,
exhausted.
right? I know. I'm tired too, man. God.
Holy
trying to see if
musical
there's
Batman.
any. So
Yeah.
that's a promise of fire.
Wow. Okay.
Yep, that was a thing, right?
Yeah.
If you came out of this feeling unsatisfied, like there wasn't much of a story, you're not the only one.
I feel that's my number one thing is I feel so dissatisfied with the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To be fair, there's a lot I didn't go into, but it was heavy.
So when you weren't reading this,
Right.
what were you reading?
So kind of my palate cleanser. I did a lot of travel for work the past couple weeks. So on the plane, I like to just kind of zone out. So I got on Spotify, there is a really good unabridged audiobook of Jane Eyre. And I love Jane Eyre.
We have talked so much about Jane Eyre in our friendship.
I know. I really enjoy, like, Jane Eyre is, like, a good book. I like it a lot. So I was listening to the audiobook of Jane Eyre for the little while, which was a great way to pass time on a plane.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so good. Such a good book. Jane's such a strong... I forgot that there's one entire chapter where she waxes poetic about, like, dude, women have rights too.
Yeah.
Like, it's awesome.
It's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
So I was really happy to, like, listen to that. I've read it a lot, but listening to it actually is pretty nice because you can really focus on what's going on.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice. Yeah. So that's what I've been doing.
All right, well,
I think that's about it.
I think that's it, yeah. Okay, so do you want to...
Thank you guys so much for listening. If you guys have any recommendations or, you know, maybe you've read this book and you want to let me know what you thought, or if you want to tell me what happens at the end, I don't really mind spoilers. Like, that's fine.
Actually, that would be great. Then we can save
then I don't
Rachel
have to read it.
for reading
I mean,
it.
to be fair, I knocked this sucker out in about 4 hours.
Yeah, you could tweet it to us.
That's 4 hours of my life that I can't get back. So.
Yeah, don't make her waste 5.
Right, exactly. So you can check us out online at, what is it?
TextualTensionPod.com.
Yeah, you know this more than I do.
So you can find us at TextualTensionPod.com. You can find us on Instagram at TextualTensionPod. And on Twitter, we're at TTensionPod.
Yeah, at TTensionPod.
And thank you for our intro song.
Oh Love by the artist Ayla Nerio.
Yes.
It's an awesome song. I got it off of a really cool website that gives, like, free music to use, and it's super cool, so I want to make sure she gets credit where credit is due.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for listening, and we will be back in 2 weeks where Margie will tell me about a trashy garbage fire of a romance novel.
Who knows? It may not be a garbage fire.
It might be good.
It may be an ocean garbage fire.
No, underwater garbage fire. Well,
see you guys soon.
See you guys so much. Thank you for listening.
One thing I always wanted to write was a fan fiction of 50 Shades of Grey, but like
from
have
someone
it be
else's perspective.
So like that's the comedy part, but then on the side have an actual healthy romance.
Okay, but I want to have like a romance novel that is from someone else's perspective, watching this shit goes down. But like, oh honey, no,
try to talk
like,
to the person.
Like, do you remember the YouTube videos, the sassy gay friend?
Yeah,
like that, but for romance novels.
I haven't seen that. Oh my god, I haven't seen those in so long. I haven't even thought about Sassy Gay Friend.
So you like to write, you're kind of in the author world. You should write that. I would love it forever if you did.
You